of my voice. I'm not sorry, fans. Hear that bird? The squawk box? It's on 5424's house, directly across. Usually they come out and they scream. They tell me to shut up. Hey everyone, it's Naughty Money with Lips Aflame. Happy Mother's Day. I haven't seen my mom since late March this year. Before that, I didn't see her till October of last year. And before October of last year, I didn't see her for another 6 months, which was April of last year. So I've only seen her 3 times in over a year. And we have to pass notes to each other. And it's all because we can't be sabotaged. We can't talk out loud. Well, we can, but, you know, what's the point of letting them know? You know, I'm all about the torture. I don't want them. I like to keep people get. Okay, so anyway. Oh my God. And when I was getting ready, I think it's coming from their attic or a drone is flying. Every time they think I'm done, like with a makeup step, like done with my eye. Remember I tell you when I put my mascara on, the big guy across who masturbates in front of his mom, that Dominic DeLuise, every time, and right when I get done with the end of my eyelashes putting mascara on, well, every time I'm putting it on, and then when I get to the end, he's going, I want you guys to see how mentally ill. They're not even crazy, even in a fun way. They're beyond that. There's not even a word, as I said. And for this. And every time I'm done with the makeup step, like they think I'm done putting my lipstick on or something, they stop the monkey screaming. I have a monkey screaming that I use on the internet, on YouTube, and I hook it up with my Bluetooth speakers, and I put it up against the wall. And every time they think I'm done with something, they stop the monkey screaming. It'll be quiet. And if they think I'm done with something, I don't know how they're pausing it or whatever. If they're hacked on my mom's phone, I don't know. They don't have to be hacked in a phone to do that. But the monkeys, they're called howler monkeys, and they squeal. Wah, wah, wah. All of a sudden, it'll be quiet, muted or something, or paused. They pause it for like 10 hours or 8 hours. Anyway, then they unpause it or something, unmute it. And then when they think I'm done with something in the bathroom or anything, they'll go, and they'll get quiet. Or it'll sound like a semi-truck is passing by. I don't know if they're flying a drone over my head or if it's coming from their attic because the walls are real thin and stuff. And yeah, it comes from the left side. It sounds like it's the left side, upper side is like my attic. And their attic is directly across from mine. And yeah, they make like a sound like a car is driving by or a motorcycle, a loud engine noise. And there's not a car that's passing out here on the street. So that's why I want to show you guys how nuts and mentally ill they are. And then they're like creeping behind the wall when they think I'm done with something. Like one time I was sweating profusely and because I ate some bad meat. I had let it thaw, a frozen food, and then I refroze it and I let it thaw again and I ate it. And oh my God, I got food poisoning. I didn't puke or anything. I thought I was going to. I remember I was sweating and stuff, and I was like bending over and stuff. And I think they guessed it or with the thermal camera. And then all of a sudden, a few minutes later, commercials start coming. Have motion sickness problem, have some Dramamine, sweating, profusely and stuff like that. And I did that, the same thing with my patellatus, whatever, ear tube syndrome, where you can hear yourself in like one ear because of rapid weight loss. Well, I noticed every time I bent down, it would disappear. So I kept bending down, and I don't know, they guessed it through thermal camera, but again, I heard like creaking. And then when I went outside, in front of the staircase, I could hear their footsteps like creak, like, oh, what is she doing? Oh, we must just know what she's doing. Oh. That's how crazy they are. You can hear the footsteps walking behind the wall where I walk. I did tests, and I go to the bathroom, and they'll like stoop, and then you can hear them creak, like getting closer. And I go to the other room, and then they'll step. You hear the footsteps, and then you'll hear it behind the closet, creak. Aren't I awesome? I would never spend any time on anybody this much. Which begs to wonder, why don't they just buy me a sports car? I really need one, or diamonds or something. Okay, so anyway. How would they be doing that? I mean, people say thermal camera. Or there still could be a hidden camera still in my home. Like I said, I covered everything, even with cardboard, blankets, every towel. Only the walls and the skylights were exposed. And that was what I was looking for. That was what I was testing. I was like, it's either in the ceiling or the skylight shade. I don't know. I haven't found one, but I haven't ruled it out. People tell me it's so small, they don't think I can see it. I don't know. At first I thought there wasn't one, but then people say thermal camera. But then people say they use thermal cameras and they say you can't see anything. Well, it just detects heat. Which no one cares. I mean, yeah, I can see that through a thermal camera. I don't care about seeing someone. And now I realize why. A long time ago, I just found out. I'm like, well, they're not important. I am, so they're not me. You know? Anyway, plus that's boring to watch. If I had a chance, I would totally make them sign a 2-year, 3-year contract to force themselves to watch me through a thermal camera. Because we all know nobody likes doing that. They do that to try and bother someone and harass someone. And it's so boring. I would force someone to watch that. Because we all know inside they don't want to watch it. Okay, so anyway, yeah, that really drives me to suicide. Not. Okay, so anyway. Okay, I'm here to tell about the second act in the At&t racist attack. Look what mommy gave me, kitty. Okay, so anyway. Okay, so this is the At&t in the mall, 4201 Coldwater Road, Fort Wayne, Indiana. Fort Wayne, where the hell valleys are. Anyway, like we're in the backwoods. Okay, so... No, we're actually not. We're actually in a residential area with, you know, the concrete and the sidewalk and the driveways. Okay, anyway. So I go and... Okay, so we left off at when they refused to help me the first time. And I ended up leaving and calling corporate. And so anyway, I talked to a lady and I went back the second time. And they said that they would call the store and talk to them. And I don't know how or why, but I think I had forgotten about it at that moment. I went back in and again, this time it was maybe a taller white male. I don't know, maybe blondish or reddish hair, maybe 6 feet. I'm not good with height. I'm 5'6". Maybe he's a little taller than me. I had heels on. He's a little taller. Maybe he's at least 5'10", taller. And then a short, fat girl with dark hair and dark eyes. The At&t store at the mall, Glenbrook Square Mall, here in Fort Wayne, Indiana. And yeah, so I wanted a phone. And like I said a few days earlier, they had refused to sell me a phone. Because, you know, racism. Anyway, and of course, my ex-employer's Home Depot, Walmart on Maysville Road. And then my scuzz neighbors, community harassment. They're also calling and begging them to do it. Or bribing them, you know. I don't know how they're making them feel sorry for them. That's what my mom told her. I'm like, well, that's just it. Now I don't know who's crazier. How can they, if that's true, how can you feel sorry for someone saying, let's harass this girl because she's Asian? Feel sorry for, don't give her attention, don't give her attention, give us attention, say hi to us, and then be like, turn around, don't look at her, frown, and turn around and look down. And then we come in and be like, hi. And I feel stupid and humiliated. I kind of feel red and hot saying, okay, let's not think about that. I already said that before. Okay, so anyway, I just want to embarrass him by saying that again. I want to reiterate that. Okay, so anyway, I go in there and I said I want to look for the latest model of the phone. It was a Samsung at the time. And maybe it was an iPhone. No. That's with T-Mobile. Okay, with At&t it was a Samsung. Anyway, at first, you know, they weren't saying anything. And then he said, I don't know, they're over there. And then I said, where? He goes, over there. And I said, well, can you show it to me? I don't, it wasn't out, like the model was out, or I wanted the box, you know, the one that they sold. I said, I'll take this one. And then, they both wouldn't answer. And usually there's stalkers and there are like 3 or 4 of them getting all orgasmic and turned on or pretending to. I'd feel humiliated showing someone that they're special to me anyway. Or they'll walk behind me and kind of hit the back of my chair because they knew I wouldn't do anything. Completely different story now. Well, of course I wouldn't attack anyone publicly because that's what they want you to do. And I want to say, fellow stalking, don't do it. Do not act out in public. Call the police. Don't touch anybody because that's what they want you to do. They try and get you to react. They like push you, scrape your skin off your nails, cause you to bleed. They kick your chair. They shove you. They've done that all to me. And it's all to create, of course, to provoke you in such a way where you have to react to defend yourself. And then if you do, which I never did, I don't understand how I was so patient and graceful and tolerant and nice, because this is when I didn't even blog about it. I guess I was so used to the abuse, and I just ignored it. And you know, they want you to provoke you in such a way, in a physical, violent way, where any sane, normal person who doesn't have the tolerance or patience, many people the way I do, because I have so much experience with this, they're going to react and defend themselves or confront the person. And that's exactly what they want, to use it as an excuse to kick you out, or better yet, call the police and then have you thrown out when they're the ones who started it. So don't do it. That's what I want to say. Blog about it or confront them verbally, you know, because I never confronted them. See, they blackmail you. I knew if I confronted them, they would say, you can't come here anymore. Now, I'm totally okay with it. So anyway, because I have you lovely, beautiful people to tell. Mwah. Okay, so anyway, I said I want to buy it, and then the guy was giving me a hard time. He was saying, which one again? And I said, I want that one. And he was like, you know what? He goes, nah, I'm not going to sell it to you. And then the girl said, neither am I. And then they stood there, and they looked angry. And I had completely forgotten. I had no idea that I had called corporate. I think, earlier. I was actually that morning. I was so laser focused on getting a new phone. And so I called corporate. I went back outside. I sat on the bench. And again, mall security is involved, as creepy as that sounds. And all of a sudden, all these fake customers, they start surrounding me, screaming. And the janitor keeps circling me and snarling at me like 7 times. And even before that, in general, whenever I come into the mall, that the security guards are always walking in front of me, and then they're putting their hand on their hip on the gun, like threatening me, trying to make me think they're so powerful. I'm like, no, I still don't agree with that. I still don't believe that Home Depot and Walmart, such important people on the food chain, so higher than the governor and the president. Oh, they have so much power, they're controlling them. Anyway, and then also the security van, the security Jeep, that white Jeep with the yellow lights, that's what's stalking me too. And they're not there to help, and I don't mind that. But when I started telling people about it, they stopped, and I didn't like that. I was like, why are you hiding it? Every time I would park my car and come into the parking lot, they would drive circles around me. And they weren't doing it to watch out for me. They're doing it to try and harass me. I don't see how that's harassing. I see that as them harassing themselves and complimenting me. And then they stopped, which I don't like. That's not why I tell people. I tell people because I want them to watch them. I want them to be humiliated. I want the public to see, like, look, see how crazy? Like, I have these people, I had them going crazy. I still have these people. I'm telling you, I have them going crazy for me. Do you see how they act? That's my meaning. Like, you see, I had them people going crazy for me. Or the mildewettes, piles of mildew and mold and scum. Told you, I had them people going crazy for me. See how they act? See how they still act? I still have them people going crazy for me. Yeah. And, because I would never do it to someone. I'm just too selfish. I'd rather sleep. So anyway, and watch my soap operas and play games and, you know, stuff like that. So anyway, yeah, that's recoding. So anyway, he said he wasn't going to sell it to me, and neither am I. And so I called corporate because the lady told me a few days earlier, just call us. We are there to back you up. You can call us. You know, um, you can call us while you're in there. And I was using like a different old one of my mom's old phones. It was like a flip phone. It wasn't even mine. And she said, then I talked to another lady at corporate. And then she said, well, hand the phone to them. And they would not come to the phone. So she said, hold on. This is when I walked back into the store. She said, hold on, I'll call the store. And so she called. And then that first they wouldn't answer. They finally answered. And then he was saying, oh, well, she didn't ask for help. And, she doesn't know what she wants. And I said on the phone, I was like, that's a lie because they put me on hold. And then he finally rung it up. And then we ended the call. And then I still wanted a case. And then he goes, he had his arm. He goes, they're over there. And then I go, well, can you show me? And then he walked over, like stomped over. And he was talking like 10 miles away from me, way on the other side of the store. And I had some questions, like, where were they? That was a confusing store. What were what did the models look like? Because it really didn't show the picture. I didn't know where they were. I want to see what kind they were. And he wouldn't show me. And I said, you need to do your job and take it out and show me. And then he's like, we don't like what you did with the Douglas last time. Remember Douglas you'll have to watch the other video, the previous one I made from this one. He goes, we don't like what you did with Douglas. I go, that guy, that guy was rude, mean, disrespectful. And then he had his arms crossed. He goes, you know what? And then I said something else, like, I said something about the case. Like, I want to see the case now, the phone case. And then he goes, you know what? He goes, he pointed his finger. He goes, don't you dare be talking about our associates like that. Don't you dare be talking about Douglas like that. And then I go, don't you dare talk to me like that. I'm the customer. And that girl's smiling behind him. And then not because she thought it was funny, because she thought, oh, she's having an orgasm, thinking, oh, she's getting mad, And I was defending myself. And then he looked angry. And then I go, well, can you show me the case? And then he like took it out. And he like, yeah. Or it was like, but it was straight like this. But he was, and he had it down, like in front of his penis. I go, can you pick it up? And then he was like, and then he had dropped on the floor. And then he goes, that's it. He goes, I'm really not helping. I'm not selling this to her. I'm really not helping her. And then she goes, yeah, neither am I. And then so I called corporate this time, and I sat at the table, and I was talking to another lady at corporate. And for like, then 10 minutes later, then while I was talking to the lady, I remember that short girl with the dark hair, dark eyes, the short fat girl with the dark hair, dark eyes. She and that guy come up to me while I'm talking to a lady, and the female employee with the dark hair, dark eyes, she goes, she has to return the phone first. And I go, no, I want to keep the phone. And she kind of smiled, I was like, I don't care. I am not going to not say anything. And then while I was talking, I guess the case, she like took it. And then she, while I was talking to a lady on the phone, she stood in front of me, the employee. And then she put her hand on the case and slowly slid it away. And she knew I wouldn't say anything. And I was looking at her, and she was looking at me like, the face she made. She goes like, and then she walks away. And then I was on the phone, and then when I got off the phone, or I was on the phone for like 10 minutes, and the security guard comes in, and she stood there like 10 minutes, and then I kept talking to the lady at corporate, and the security guard didn't say anything to me. She was just staring and watching me. And then I told the lady at corporate, I go, oh, wait a second. I go, I called corporate. I go, yeah, like at 9 a.m. this morning. I go, that's why. I go, they're mad because they got in trouble. I go, corporate called the store. And, oh, and before that, well, when that guy was being mean to me before I called corporate, I told, I remember that girl was being rude to me. That girl got involved. When he said, that's it, I'm not helping her. You know, I'm not selling this to her, this case to her. She goes, yeah, neither am I. And then she was right in front of me. And I said, well, then I'm calling corporate here. And then she goes, okay. Like, okay. And she like walked away, pretending I thought she wasn't scared. She had this angry look on her face. And then that's when I called corporate and stuff. And 10 minutes passed by, and then that's when the security guard came. And I was telling that lady at corporate, oh my God, I just remembered I called corporate. I think they got in trouble. And then I was looking up at the security guard. I didn't say anything. And then she said, ma'am, you know, you have to leave the store. I said, why? I wasn't doing anything. She said, well, they said you were yelling earlier, which is a total lie. And I said, no, I was. I said, they're lying. No, I wasn't. Because they got in trouble with corporate. And then she goes, well, you're not yelling now, but I'm just telling you what they said. They said you were. And she said, you're not now, but you have to leave the store. She said, you can go anywhere else in the mall. She said, you don't have to leave the mall. You can go to any other store. It's just that you have to leave this store. I asked the lady at corporate, I go, okay, a sheriff is here, security guard. She said, I have to leave the store, do I? Because I didn't want to. I go, because I still want the case. And then she said, yeah, naughty. She said, just leave for your own safety. We don't want it to get, we don't want things to get out of hand, because she said, I wouldn't want you to get arrested. And I was like, oh, I didn't know that could happen. I said, okay, as I was getting up walking, I said, well, I'm still coming back, And I sat out on the bench. And again, all the stalkers, I know people say, don't they have anything to do? No, not in Indiana. That's why when I tell people I'm from Indiana, they say, the first thing they say is a lot of sad looking faces, a lot of sad looking people. I'm like, they're that bored. I don't mind that. I just feel like I should be getting paid the type of attention I'm getting. They should be giving me gifts and stuff, and I should be paid for, my time. Even though I'm not giving it to them, they're spending it on me. I still feel like, I should have gifts, because I'm special to them. So anyway, I left and I sat at the bench, and again, all the stalkers are standing around me. And of course, they're being told by cop affiliations, not all of them, just very few of them. Oh, as long as you don't say anything to the victim, nothing is going on. And no, that's not true. It's like, well, if that were true, why aren't they doing that with everyone else? And why are you hiding it? Because they're trying to hide it. I'm like, you should do it openly and freely. If you really feel like you're good and noble and you're hot of hots, I should say, in your black stones of black stones, because they don't have they're molded on top with the mildew piled on top of it. I'm like, well, then you should be wanting to do it openly and freely. You should want everyone to see what you're doing. You shouldn't want to hide it. That's how I am. When I know I'm doing something right, when I know I'm doing something that people don't like, I openly do it. And then I realized, oh, that's because I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm not doing what they're doing. But I'm like, I do things whether people don't like it or not, whether they love it, like it. I do whatever I want. I don't hide it. Even when people try, like, being Asian, I'm like, I'm going to keep showing my face out here. I'm like, that's not going to stop me. So anyway, that's what happened that time. And believe it or not, there's a part 3. And part 3, maybe that's worse. This it's again AT&T store. And let me see if I'm missing anything. That was that time, and I left. Yeah, and this particular day, no fake cut, no stalkers came in the entire time. And yeah, usually they have stalkers following me. I was like, why don't you have stalkers here, huh? Huh? Dumbasses. What are you so afraid of? Yeah, they knew that they were going to fight with me and they didn't want witnesses around. So they didn't have any stalkers come in. And no customers. It was like 3 in the afternoon when it's dead. And I went there before a few days earlier. They had like, I counted like 17 people there. And it's never that busy. You know. So stalking victims, I don't have this, but I encourage you guys, if you can, wear a body cam and then post it, because I wish I could do that. You know, I think you have to have the internet. Well, yeah, you have to have, I wouldn't know how to do that, but, you know, do that if you have the, you know, you have the technology for it, you know, because I would love to do that. I don't need to, though. I know you guys believe me because I have enough evidence, you know, that I posted. And, oh, I always want to tell you. Okay, so this is the knock they always do. Like, I call it the doomsday knock. I don't know what it's called, but now you guys do it to them. And then after you do it, say, isn't that the knock you do with that Nadia girl because you're obsessed with her? But yeah, they'll tell Tex. And when they were hacked on my phone, they knew like cleaning services, like spot cleaning, good deal handyman, with the owner being Trevor. He was psychotic, violent. He was screaming at me, trying to scare me, yelling at the top of his lungs. I remember that was the second night. He had done a no-show, and he said he'd be there at 9 in the morning. And anyway, the first time he came, 9 o'clock, he acted real nice and fake with me. I remember when I opened the door, he was already like this tiny, waving at that neighbor across, 5424. And she was pretending to walk outside. And they planned that right when she opens the door. No, again, how many times has that happened? When you open the door, a handyman or technician, their bodies turned around and they're pretending to wave at a neighbor across. That happens to be fake walk. Exactly. I took that as a compliment. And anyway, and then the second night when he came, her window was pulled all the way to the top with candles, like the satanic candles, and some other girl. And they had their legs folded underneath them and they're walking back and forth. And he was telling me to shut off my flashlight because, he said, because they're going to think that I'm robbing your house. I go, I'm the one who looks like a thief. I go, I have the flashlight in the dark because I was looking for hidden cameras. And his friend there who ripped me off, his name is Tyler Hollabrack, an electrician he told me would be for free to check my wiring, ended up charging me $150, and he was going to charge me $300. And both of them ripped me off because Home Depot and Walmart and the Scuzz neighbors and the managers, they told him to do that. Make her think you're going to do it for free and then charge her. And even that guy, Tyler, started laughing when I said that. I go, I'm the one who looks like the rob. I go, what? Seriously? I go, burglars are in the dark with flashlights, and he knew that. And Trevor knew that. He brought his friend Tyler Hollabrack, and he stole $150, and he didn't even fix the problem. I still had problems and stuff, and he said everything was okay. So that's fraud. His name is Tyler Hollabrack, Holobrach, something like that. And anyway, the second night when, the first night, when we were almost done, you know, because they pretend to keep a fake connection. They don't really believe this, but they act like, oh, maybe if we do it at the end, she won't be so mad. First of all, I'm not mad. Second of all, nobody believes that. We all know you're trying to keep a fake connection because Nadia is going to keep her nose upturned and keep strutting. They know whether we stop, go at full force, almost in between, back off a little, dabba, go back, dab, a few steps back. She's going to do what she wants at the same level. Exactly. Whether they stop, go at full force, do a little bit, almost in between, a few steps here, a few steps, I'm going to do the same thing. So they try and forge a fake connection. Everybody wants this Nadia fantasy. Everybody wants to be part of this Nadia fantasy here, there. I pick who gets. So that's why they'll overact and stomp their feet and look from left to right, and frown and slam the door because they know they have no control. I'm living my life. They're trying to keep some type of fake connection, like, look at us, trying to get our attention. And Or they'll like stare at you and like keep turning their heads as you walk by. Of course, I don't care. I don't look at them. It's like they're almost invisible to me. I keep walking. Like they know, oh, they're being told stare at her so she knows we're still watching her. The bitch is too happy. She's doing whatever she wants and she just can't do that. We have to make her move or she has to commit suicide. One or the other, and the bitch isn't doing it. And she's still getting what she wants because now she's going public and complaining to corporate. And oh my God, they were hiding food at Kroger. All the food, the freezer it was empty. The wraps were empty for 3 weeks in a row. And all of a sudden, it was there. It was there, the Kroger on St. Joe Road. It was, all these wraps were there, and management was a part of it. And then I went in the next night, and all the wraps were 12 hours later. And I was like, there's no way management is not, there's no way management isn't involved. And one time I looked at the clock, it was 1:45 in the morning. And all of a sudden at the bakery, I've been there before the stocking, no one's there at 1:45 at the bakery. 3 or 4, like one by one, people are smiling and looking down and looking away like, oh, we feel stupid. It's obvious. She knows that we're here to harass her. They were all surrounding me and pretending to look at pies at 1:45 in the morning. And I had no idea they were tracking me through my phone. I was like, I'm going to tell people about this someday. And blast it all over the social media. And this is at the Kroger store. And the big bald guy, the store manager with the glasses, he's a part of it too. They were telling their little kids with little mini carts to like, oh, run me over. And he put his thumbs up to the mother and stuff. And the store management's involved. That's why they're doing it. All the businesses, they're all involved. That's why they're doing it. And they had carts that were half full in the parking lot. There were like 20 of them. Seriously, they had merchandise in the shopping carts. It was all strewn across the parking lot to really try and trick me into thinking that they owned the store and they own everyone in Fort Wayne and everyone's against you, naughty, so hang yourself. Buy that gun and shoot yourself already. Nope, I don't believe it. I feel the opposite, that when someone is working that hard, I feel the opposite. I don't feel like doomed. I feel better. I feel like, oh my God, they're working this hard. That tells me that they know where I'm going. They're trying to make it look like that because it isn't what they're trying to make it appear. When someone works that hard, that's what I thought. I was like, it looks way too set up and planned because they knew I went shopping late at night after work. And then they had these creepy guys in leather jackets. They're just standing there out like in the first parking space and staring at me. And they would purposely go, ah! They do a noise campaign. Achoo! And he was standing by his motorcycle. And he wasn't doing anything. He must have been standing there for hours. And management sees this. And then they had all those shopping carts in the parking lot, a half full with merchandise in it, just laying all strewn across the parking lot to try and make it look like, they can get away with it. And then they had empty shopping carts blocking me in the aisles everywhere, all over Kroger, because that's what they did at Walmart. And they wanted to make sure I knew, hey, Walmart contacted us and told us to do this. They would leave empty shopping carts sideways in the aisle, like a minus sign. That's what they do at Walmart to block me, and yeah. And Kroger on Georgetown Square did this too. It was mostly the St. Joe one on St. Joe Road. And management is involved. So complain. You don't like the service there? Now's the time. Say that they do it to you too. And yeah, they were hiding wraps. They were making these wraps that were okay. But all the wraps I liked that they used to make, I think they were Southwestern. One of them had like a green tortilla. One of them was like turkey. The other one was Southwestern. They're really fattening. I thought they were diet ones. Can't remember what the other one was. But all of them were gone. And the shelves were completely empty. I counted for 3 weeks. I went to that deli 3 weeks in a row. And all the shelves were empty. And then 3 weeks later, all of them were full, like I said. And then the next day I went 12 hours later and like 5 o'clock at night because I went 5 o'clock in the morning and all the shelves were empty. when they had been completely full with wraps. And I'm like, there's no way it's sold. I was like, okay, some management's involved. See, they try and make a person feel hopeless. I want to tell other people, don't believe it. Don't feel hopeless. Don't kill yourselves. There's always another option. Death isn't the only option. That's what I realized. I think that's how I differ. Other suicide victims, they feel like there's no other way out. I don't feel that way or think that way. I always feel like there's always a way. I can always find a way to work around it, through it, underneath it, or above it. I always find a way to work around it or through it or above it or creep underneath it and get through. I love personally going through it and busting through them like boulders. I'm like, they block my, I'm like, I like to face my fear. I like a challenge. I like to deal with situations that are really bad. I like to see what happens, you know. That's why I can deal with anything now. You know, I learned with myself, you guys, that only thing I've learned here is there are things I've done that I never thought I would do. Like being in the attic, I'm like, wow, I know how to use a screwdriver. Wow. You know, like I can unscrew something and open up the wooden part and look for hidden cameras in the attic. And there's like 3 feet of lint. You know, like, wow, you know, things I never thought I would do. I've done. You know, not just that, I've realized how I didn't know how strong and patient and tolerant I am. That's all I've realized. And yeah. And so anyway, what else? Yeah, so that's what they were doing at Kroger. It's a completely different story. And I still got Corte. They always stalk me and follow me. I don't know how. I guess through my phone or the neighbors told them or something. But yeah, every time I was driving, they were driving. Like almost every time. And one time, I don't know how they could hear me, but I had my audio jammer. I don't know if it's noise filtering. Maybe I was talking louder. Because if you talk louder than the sound, they'll be able to hear you. But I don't know if they filtered out the noise with my voices going over it. I didn't think it was. I felt like the sound was equal with my voice. It's called the AJ jammer, AJ dash jammer. And it's an audio jammer. And it blocks any Wi-Fi microphone with the battery. The ones that the neighbors disable by draining the battery, hogging it, thieves that they are. And that's what they do out in public too. And another thing is, yeah, I was talking about paying my bills with NIPSCO, and I was in a church parking lot. The Alliance one here on Lanemeyer Road. And when I happened to turn around, and again, that church is involved. You're all going to hell. Scold those employees because they let the stalkers come. I'll be at the way back parking spot and the stalkers will park way in the back around me. And the staff is behind it, giving them permission. Anyway, I was talking about paying a bill and I had the audio jammer on. Now, audio jammer is like, it sounds like shower water, running water. You know, like a white noise machine, like when you go to bed and make, or like when the TV's on a wrong channel. That's the white noise. And anyway, I had that going. And I was talking to NIPSCO about my bill. And then when I was off the phone, all of a sudden when I turned around, a NIPSCO van was behind me. And an Xfinity or a Frontier van was behind me. Because Frontier stalks me too. Every time I'm at Frontier, Corte, the neighbors are telling them, or they're doing it through my phone, through a map or something. I didn't know about it. But I'm like, how did they hear me? Because I was talking about NIPSCO. And I didn't see them pull up because they were behind me. But when I was done my phone call, I happened to turn around and they were already parked behind me. The tech vans, NIPSCO and a Frontier. And even people said, sounds like they can hear you. Another time at the Messiah Church up here, again, they're also a part of it too. I was talking in the parking lot, and I was talking to a cop once, and he's real helpful and friendly. And I was saying, where can I go to talk? It's not safe at home. And he was saying, well, you could go to Walmart or Target. Those parking lots are huge. I was like, okay. I was like, but they follow me there. He goes, well, how about a park? He goes like Shove Park or I think I said Shove Park, and he said, yeah, and he was real. I liked that cop was really good ideas, and another thing, don't blame the entire cop force. It's not all of them. It's just the ones that Home Depot, Walmart. I don't even think they're close friends or maybe relatives. I don't even think it's that. You know, like when people shoplift at Home Depot and Walmart and they come and arrest that person, is that type of affiliation. Remember, these aren't important people. They're not even people, they're scum. They're the lowest of the low on the retail food chain. They're not important, they have no power, something like that. They fill out reports for shoplifters, stuff like that. Anyway, an electrician was supposed to come out to my house, and I told him, don't come out to my house today. His name is Stuart Steer, and I don't know if it's called Steer Electrics or Electrician. And I had told him the day before because he wanted to see where I lived, and I told him, no, don't come out tomorrow. I won't be there. And he came out anyway. I had a feeling he might do that. And after I came home from the church talking to the cop, I got the text from Stuart Steer. Don't give that guy any business. This is what's really creepy. And I had the audio jammer on the entire time I was talking to the cop about where to go. He said park, Walmart. And I told him I was in a church parking lot. And then I'm the one who said, should I go to Shove Park? He said, yeah. It's a public place, you know, because I was like, well, what if the private property, that's Target and Walmart? And I was trying to get prepared. I was like, well, what if they told me to leave? He goes, well, no one can tell you to leave in a park because that's not private property, that's public. I was like, okay, that's a good idea. When I got home, I got the text from Stuart Steer, and he said, oh, yeah, I stopped over at your place. And I was thinking, okay, well, the stalker saw that and contacted him. And they did. And then in his text, he wrote, oh, yeah, oh, no, I talked to him on the phone. Yeah, I called him first. I sent him the text later. I called him, and he goes, I was doing a job at, I was just doing a job at Shove Park Church. And I thought that was weird. I was like, he heard my phone call. I don't know how or what. And fans, help me. How did that happen? I'm in the church parking lot. Obviously, someone who spied on me contacted that electrician and told him that. And so I texted him and I confronted him and I said, hey, I have a hearing coming up, you know, because that restraining order from that crazy, fat, ugly piece of sausage, short, old sausage at Home Depot who got the lying restraining order on me with a bunch of lies that got dismissed anyway because it was perjury. They made it all up and none of it happened. They said I threatened them. None of that was said in any of the papers that they said it was in, and it had a fake date on it, a lie, 2 years earlier. Everyone was like, well, why are they writing a restraining or why are they filling out a restraining order request now 2 years later? And it didn't even happen. Anyway, I was going to fight that case in court, and I texted that guy Stuart Steer back, and I said, hey, I have a hearing coming up soon. Would you be able to testify that they contacted you? And I didn't get an answer back. But later on, when I was talking to tech support like Apple and I think Frontier, Xfinity, some type of tech support, maybe T-Mobile, talking to some tech support at the time, and I happened to bring it up, my conversation at the church, and I actually was so dumb and naive. I actually thought maybe it was a coincidence. And I told her about that conversation. I said, that's a coincidence, right? That Stuart Steer, you know, the electrician. I go, he said that I was doing a job at Shove Park Church. And they were quiet. They said, it sounds like that guy, they heard you. And I was like, oh no. I was like, why had the audio jammer? They're like, yeah. They go, this is bizarre. They go, this is confusing. If you're in the park, I go, exactly. I feel like the stalkers had contacted him. How did they know he's coming over? That means, I don't know, they're hacked in the phone, or I don't know, they heard my conversation through, again, the scuzz neighbors behind. I don't know. I don't remember my connections that time, tech-wise. But definitely someone from the church parking lot heard and then told him. And then I thought, oh, wow, because I was hoping they would say it was a coincidence. But then when I was talking to another lady at T-Mobile, tech support, I happened to bring it up. That, hey, this weird, I was calling for a different reason about my bill, and I happened to bring it up. And she said, no, she said, it sounds like they heard you. She said, it sounds like you're being bugged. She said, it sounds like they heard you. I was like, oh my God. I was like, how? And we couldn't figure that out. I was like, I'm talking to a cop on the phone. You know, there's background noise, the white noise machine, and this is Messiah Church. It's that reddish color church. It's on Lane Meyer Road in Stellhorn, right when you turn right on Stellhorn. It's across from that urgent care. And I was in that parking lot, and it was empty that morning, or so I thought. And I think a few cars, all of a sudden, they start parking near me. And yeah, so that happened, which is really bizarre or weird. So, friends, help me. How did that happen? I mean, is it noise filtering? That's what I'm guessing. Now, would they be able to do noise filtering if my voice wasn't louder than the noise? Because I felt like it was equal of the noise or lighter than the noise. And again, the battery would stop after 5 or 10 minutes. And this is a brand new battery, 9 volt. They're wasting my mom's money. How much are those batteries? 10, 15 bucks? I was going through them. I was using 2 of them a day, sometimes 3. It would just stop. And there's nothing wrong. It's a brand new device. And these are all brand new, like 6 brand new devices. So we're going to say something's wrong with all the devices? No. It's something with the battery being drained, like the Wi-Fi power theft, battery charging theft or something. Because I put a new battery in. Again, it's supposed to go for like 10 hours. It would always stop with a fresh battery after 20 minutes. And then it stopped after 10 minutes. And then it would stop after 5 minutes. And so I would unplug it and rehook it again. And nothing. And then I would put a new battery in and it would work. And then I would unplug it and put the old battery in. And then the old battery that was dead, it would start working. And then it would stop. The next time I would keep the battery in my backpack. And then I would try and use it again, it'd be dead. And that, it's not the device. But yeah, that's happening. How is that happening, friends? See, people are baffled, and this is bizarre. They said I've never heard of this before. Exactly. That's why I'm putting it out there. I know they're, white hat hackers, or, computer geniuses than these. These aren't even computer geniuses. So how are they doing it? And monitor them. Is there a way you can monitor it or something? I live in Springfield, Glen Villas. For a long time, I thought I couldn't say it. I'm like, I think I can. Because that was just with the lawn I got warned. The lawn people work for Blvd. But other people say I can. They don't own Springfield, Glen Villas. That was just, so I think I can say, even if they did threaten me to evict me, which they can. Because these are apartments where I'm not tenants. There's no landlord. We're owners here in houses. So I live in Springfield, Glen Villas. That's off of St. Joe Center Road and Lane Meyer Road. This is a racist community, gang stalking. And anyway, back what I was saying about what's his name? Trevor, the one who ripped me off with his electrician friend and told me he wouldn't charge me. But that's what they do. Bang, like poke, jab, surprise at the end. All as an act of control, which never works. Anyway, okay, even if it did work, I'm like, you really think that's going to make me or anybody else give in to you and commit suicide or move away by you charging me? No, that makes me want to fight to the fuck. Fight even hard. Some people say they just want to give up. I'm like, I feel the opposite. I've never felt that way. That's the first time I've heard of it. That's foreign to me. I'm like, no. I'm like, when I'm being bullied and stuff, I'm like, that doesn't make me want to go. I feel the opposite. That makes me want to fight back even harder. That's how I feel. I'm like, I'm happy. I don't want to give up. I'm like, that's why I fight back. Because I'm happy and I want to live. If I did give up, then yeah, I'd be like all those other people and commit suicide. But I don't, and I never will. And anyway, at the end with Trevor from Good Deal Handyman, better handyman or better than affordable. It's better than affordable or good deal handyman or affordable hand. I don't know, something like that. And anyway, he at the end of the first meeting, there were 2 meetings, first night and second night. Night 1, at the end, he like the door was already cracked open. He went out to his car and he does this. This is the knock they always do. And they tell techs to do it when they come to my house. I always want to do that. That's what they do. One time, a different electrician, he knocked, and they were always coming 10 minutes early, or right when I was coming down the stairs to pass the door, I was still in the middle of getting ready. Oh, they would come 10 minutes early. I'm like, no, your deal isn't with the stalkers and it's with me. And at that time, they were always coming 10 minutes early. And they thought, oh, okay, they're guessing. Oh, the neighbors are guessing. Oh, well, hush, 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 hush. Nadia's ready, and, we have to have it our way, and, we're going to make it look like we're having it her way, and, at least she's done getting ready, but we want to have it our way, too. Hush, 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 hush. We're not going to come on time. We're going to come early, but at least she's done getting ready, which wasn't true. And they would tell people to come right when I would come downstairs and pass my door. The person would reach over and ring the doorbell or go... And this happened like 8 times with 8 different companies, 8 different days and times. How do they know I'm walking past my door? It's at the bottom of the stairs, that front door, which you've seen. Obviously, someone's telling them, I want you to see and hear how crazy and nuts they are. And, but you gotta admit, I'm awesomely special. Maybe it's my crown they want. No! You can keep doing what you're doing, but I get to keep my crown. Blah, blah. Okay, so anyway, that's what they do. So next, I don't know what I call it, the doomsday. I don't know what that knock is called, but that's what he did. And then he opens the door and he goes. I was like, he knows. They told he stooped his shoulders up and I'm like, I'm still gonna tell everyone someday. And then I go, why? You didn't have to knock. You could have came in. And he snarled and said, oh, well, sometimes customers get mad and they want you to knock again and tell them who they're... Yeah, before he did that, he said, can I come in again? And he used that as an excuse to pretend to be mad at me, to treat me like shit, as they say. Which I don't believe, because I'm like, it's fake, it's an act, so I don't feel offended because this is all an orchestrated act. So it's just not real. And yeah, and that's what he goes. He goes when he came through the door. And that's what happened. And yeah, he's trying to pick me up off the couch. I said, don't. He's like this is a handyman, first time I met him. Why would he do that? Obviously, he was talked to, test her, see what no, I said, don't, he put one hand, he started putting one hand under my thigh and one hand like under my upper back. I told him, I was like, come on. Trevor, I think better than affordable handyman or good deal handyman. And he's the owner. And I shouldn't have done this, but then he put his hands out. And I let him take my hands and pull me up because I was so dead tired. I had no sleep that day and I had to work out. And then the next day, he didn't even show up. The night before, he said, no wonder when I asked him, what time will you come tomorrow? He goes, like, nah. And he did a no-show. And I was so polite about it. I thought, I'm home all day. I don't have a job. I was watching TV around 4 p.m. I said hello, and he goes, hey. Like, you're unimportant and worthless type of tone. And I didn't feel that way, but that's what he's being told to act. And because they feel worthless and, unimportant. That's why they spend all that time on me, because I'm so worthless and unimportant, right, fans? Okay, so anyway. He goes, hey, it's me, and I actually had a good attitude. I go, yeah, I go, and then he goes, oh, you saw I got busy with other, hey, he goes, hey, it's me, I got busy with other people, you know, you still want me to come over? I said, well, if you're still if you're busy or tired tonight, I go, you don't have to come over now, because it was like after 4, he's 7 hours late, and I said, yeah, and he said, yeah, he's like, okay, bye, and then he hung up. That's a whole other story, though, but yeah, that's how this guy is. And the next night when he came, he goes, I remember you now, because I asked him the first night, do you remember me? And he was like, and I was like, ding, ding, guilty. He goes, either he saw me at the store, or again, one of the neighbors contacted him and told him about me after he drove off the first night. Because like I said, they're crazy. They have Ring, what is it next? Getting the license plate. They got his license plate. You can type it in and find out what business the car, and that's how nuts they are. They'll contact the business, tell them lies about me and stuff. And most of the businesses, they don't even believe them. They're just doing it because they were unpopular in high school and they're racist. I'm not white. Don't want to be white, don't want to be one of them. I like where I am. I like my status in life. I don't want to be like them. It's the other way around. They want to be me. They also dress like me too. They try and wear tights. I love it. And my mom said, I was like, Mom, aren't they embarrassed? I was like, why are they dressing? Like, aren't they embarrassed? Like, like Madonna dressing like her fans. I'm like, look, why would someone publicly humiliate themselves? And she also said they're trying to bother you. And I didn't believe it. I asked her like 3 or 4 times. I was like, no, I don't think so. I was like, because I felt like I feel embarrassed for them. I feel like they're bothering themselves, and other people said that to me too. And they said they're bothering them. I was like, exactly. So, I was like, see, I'm not the only one person who thinks that. They would wear like tights and hot pink neon shoes. To date, they've never ever been successful with copying my look. Or they'll try and wear like a bright orange faded sweatshirt, and mine is hot pink, short sleeved and skin tight. And yeah, like at the hearing, all these girls, I don't know how they did it, but small claims court, these people had no appointments, nothing. They were all coming in dressed like me, wearing tights, hot pink sneakers. And even my attorney noticed that. I was like, see? I go, it's never, he said it's busy today. I go, see how they stalk me? He said, yeah, I'm noticing it. That's what everybody says. They're like, I didn't know it, but he said, yeah, it's never this, exactly. And they were all dressing like me. And a lot more stories about it. And small claims court is helping them. And don't complain to Christopher Nancaro, because he lies and backs him up. He said, I talked to them before when I sent him an email or letter. And he goes, I talked to them before. I warned them before. And then he changed it and he goes, yeah, and I don't believe it anyway. And I was like, you need to correct the problem instead of denying it. And so don't go to Christopher Nancaro. He's a clerk. He's a county clerk. His boss, that would be the Judiciary Commission in Indianapolis. Contact them, because he lets it happen. Those clerks at the small claims court, those tellers behind the windows, their boss is Christopher Nancaro, and he's letting them do that. They're setting up fake suings with defense and plaintiff, and they're not really against each other. They were all there just to be near me, because they're all standing looking back at me, talking about bombing Muslims upstairs, and some girls putting her butt in front of me, and they all got quiet and looked at me, stuff like that, when I was getting ready for my hearing, waiting upstairs. And it was windows, doors, and more. And it was a fake hearing, all on the same day as me, so the staff was told my appointment time. And so the stalkers act like they're on opposing sides, and they create this fake suing, all to be close to me. There's a lot more too. One time they had 2 Islamic looking women in burqas, and they were Chinese, and they came out, they were hiding in the bathroom. And my neighbor Heidi was there, and in a fake walker. She didn't need a walker. And I think she knew them. I'm like, I thought there weren't supposed to be any devices. How did they know I was coming out of the bathroom? So the staff is a part of it, and they probably knew Heidi too. We're standing upstairs. This is a different day. 2 women, Chinese, and burqa. They scrounge around for any Asian around. When they can't, we're hard to come by. And when they can't find Asian women like me, Islamic women, they scrounge at Chinese or Vietnamese women to wear burqas. That's flattering. I'm sorry, Islamic women. But to me, that's flattering. Okay, I'm sorry to Islamic women if that offends you, but if you were in my place, I think I don't mean that in a bad way, fellow Islamic women, but one time they did have them at Allergy and Asthma Center where they have hidden cameras too in that doctor's place on Leo Road. And the doctor's a part of it too. And they had Islamic women. Again, they create a horrendous, dangerous, unhealthy environment. In the lobby, after I got my shot, they're all just sitting there and turning back and looking, staring at me. Islamic. See, the doctor staff, the nurses, think about it. You're working in the medical field in a medical office. You're supposed to be preventing this, keeping patients from committing suicide, and they're playing suicide songs by Pearl Jam and Ozzy Osbourne on the radio, and they're trying to drive patients to suicide by telling fake patients, fake or real patients to come in. We don't even know who those people are. Sometimes they walk in a circle and they walk out. They don't check in or anything, and they're hiding in the parking lot. We don't know who they are. And the staff and the doctors let them do this. And yeah, they're creating a horrendous environment. They're telling people, yeah, try and drive naughty and others to suicide or to move away. And I'm like, why are you guys working here? I don't like that. They're making money to If they're gonna make money and do that, I say they, including the doctor, that whole entire staff there and all the other places I've mentioned, they all need to be forced into mandatory psychiatric sessions to keep their jobs there. Because I don't like that. They're making money and then they're trying to drive patients to suicide. It's like, why are you in the medical field? You're supposed to be helping people and preventing this. And instead, they're two-faced. They're trying to drive people into suicide. So if any of your family members went to any of these doctor's offices, DuPont Hospital, any of the other millions of places, Fort Wayne Orthopedics, anywhere else, and they happen to die, it's because of this. It's the staff and the doctors are involved. And everybody wants to know why they're doing it. I told you, free used groceries, lawn equipment, they're being bribed, meth, marijuana, pot. Who knows? Oral sex acts. This is how sleazy they are. I mean, I heard about someone doing it, having oral sex in the bathroom in the men's room. I don't know if that's true, but this is at Home Depot. This is a pretty low story, And, yeah. So that's my story with that. This is too much information. I'm still going to have to post all these separate stories separately. I have one coming up about Papa John's. That was one of the worst ones. Summers, heating, and plumbing. Oh, my God. The guy wasn't even working across at 5424. Every time I opened the door, he was standing at 5424 property. He'd be standing on the grass. Every time I'd open the door, from like 50 feet away, he'd be looking at me like this, like... Every time I open my front door. How did they know I was answering my door? Obviously neighbors told them or something, or they heard my conversation. Some guy from NIPSCO wasn't supposed to come and he ended up coming. I don't know if he's a part of it or what. He told him I'll go to her house, but I told the lady customer service cancel it, and he came anyway. I don't know if it was an accident or what, but I remember when I opened the door, way 50 feet away, summer heating and plumbing, they weren't even doing anything, any repairs. They were just there to stand there from far away and be like, look at that. And then when I went upstairs a half hour later, summer heating and plumbing quickly sped away, and they weren't doing any work at her house. That's fraud. And they'd purposely come late to my house, again on my birthday, trying to ruin my birthday, which didn't happen. They said they would come at 2. They ended up coming at 6:30 at night. And the lady, India, kept calling to try and harass me. He said, someone's coming. They'll be there in 10 minutes. That was at 5:10 p.m. Then he shows up at 6:30. Summer heating and plumbing. Terrible. And then Papa John's, they told me it would take 3 hours to deliver my pizza. All because Home Depot told them to. And then at first they would always bring me, I thought maybe it's a mistake, but then I noticed the cheese would be brown. Because the stalkers, Home Depot, Walmart managers, and his cousin neighbors, don't give her what she wants. She's not committing suicide or moving, so, okay, you have to give her what she wants. Because people are finding out, but don't give her a nice quality. Don't give her hot, gooey cheese. Give her brown, crusty, burned cheese. Or they would give me the pizza cold. You could tell it was sitting on the counter. And they would bring it cold. I would never tip them. And they would come at the 45th minute. Usually before the stalking, when I'd order from Papa John's, they would come within, I think, exactly 15 minutes. Because it's like a 4-minute drive from my house. And they would come at exactly the 45th minute, and the pizza would be cold. So they're trying to trick it up, dick it up, and flip it up like that. I'm like, no, I'm still complaining. They knew it. And, yeah, another time for my birthday. Yes, on my birthday, I ordered a pizza. And they wouldn't bring it for 12 hours. And when he brought it, it was all the toppings were off to one side, and it was covered in oil. And I wouldn't take it. And I made him, I opened it. He almost dropped it. I was like, I'm not holding it. I opened up the lid, and it was the whole box was dripped and soaked in oil. And I go, I'm not taking this. I go back and get me another one. Yeah. And then as he's turning around and walking away, he goes, no, we're busy. And it was 1:30 in the morning. He goes, no, we're real busy tonight. I'm not coming back. And I had put in the order, I think at 5 or 6 at night, and he shows up around 1:30, and then he didn't come back. And they charged my card. So I called the police, and she said, check your bank statement. And then they took it. Then I called corporate. The guy, AJ, was a part of it. I finally contacted Twitter, and then he got scared. I remember earlier, he said, oh, actually, we've been really, one time we were really busy on a Wednesday night. I was like, no, because I told him about the 3-hour wait. I'm like, he's obviously part of it. Liar. And, yeah, so finally a different delivery driver came. I was like, well, I got my pizza. It was 8 o'clock in the morning, like over 12 hours later. I was like, and you know what? I would do it again. I would call that same location. I would do it because I feel like, you're a peon, a public servant. I don't care if you fake that you don't like me and you really do like me and you just want to get along and, just be in the out crowd, sit at the scum table, sit at the rejects club. I don't care. You like me, love me. I'm going to make someone do their job. And yes, I'll be a repeat. A lot of people say they never go back. I'm like, hell, I go back. I make sure I go back. Because you know what? It embarrasses them. Now they feel stupid and embarrassed, like I have to do my job. Or, like, what more can I do? Ban them? Yeah, you can. But then we can post it. And we can show a repeated pattern. And we can get you banned everywhere. And we can get your friends banned. And remember, friends, my fellow stalking victims out there, I always want to say this. There's nothing that can't be done to them that's already being done to you. And there's nothing that can't be done in a worse way to them than already being done to you. It can be done worse to them. So feel hopeful and happy in that. And wanting to live life in that, hey, this is going to happen to them in a worse way. This will happen to them. It is happening to them. And they're getting it worse than they gave it to us. So feel comfort in that. And blog about it. A lot of people said you should go off the grid, and I did. And you know what? It didn't help. It made things worse. Because they knew, oh, she has no internet, no phone. She has no one to tell. So they did it even more. And I'm like, they really need to rephrase this. And I hope you fellow stalking victims. Go off the grid only when you go out in public. Leave all your devices at home, shut them down. Turn the cellular off, put it in airplane mode. Then come home and blog about it. But absolutely do not take any of it with you. Because that kills them. That's what pissed them so much. That's why they got violent with me. They kicked my chair at the library. That was their way of saying, you better start turning it on and quit popping out that SIM card. That's why they were attacked and then hitting the back of my mom's car at Kroger on Georgetown Square. They're pushing the back of and hitting it. Where I was debating on calling the police, but I called corporate. I told them, look, I'm in the 5th parking space in my mom's car, and this kid and these people, they're like hitting the back of my mom's car more than once. And she's like, okay, we'll watch them. And then it got quiet all of a sudden. I was like, you crazy bastards. Haram zadeh kutte. And I was using somebody else's Apple phone, and they were mad because they can't track me. And I'm like, let them attack you, let them act out, let them act it out, let it play through. And don't lay a hand on them. But cause a scene, scream, and yell if you have to. Go to another business, ask to use their phone, call the police. Do not take your devices with you, because there's also a place you can call. Or scream. Go out in the middle of the street and beg someone, a driver, to use their phone. There's always another place you can use a phone. Because they were mad that they have no way to track me. Now they have to wait like dogs. I'm like, you know what? This is, and to the life of gang stalking. Cheers. That's the life you chose. So you're going to do stalking the old-fashioned way, minus the technology. Gang stalking involves, you have to do it the old-fashioned way too, not just technology. Yeah, you're going to have to wait outside on the curb across my street and just sit there the old-fashioned 1985 way. Because that's the life you chose, dumbasses. That's why now I realize they were getting violent with me, because I noticed, I was like, oh, those were the times. One time I had my phone shut down, the SIM card popped out, the airplane mode. The other times they were physically I didn't have any phone with me. I was like, oh. I was like, well, then I'm not bringing. I was like, for them to do that, maybe people would get scared and take, I think, yeah, they're trying to scare me into taking my phone with me, so I would feel the need to call the police. So Naughty will take the phone. I feel like this. If the person's attacking me this bad, like, I don't just think about what they're doing and think, oh my God, I'm scared, I have to protect myself. I think, well, why are they doing it? Why are they showing me? I'm like, why are they showing me this act? Obviously, they want me to do something. It's to make their job easier. Why do they show you? Because that's a hidden threat to you, silent threat. Like, you better start telling us where you're going, or else we're going to hit you, beat you in the public all the time. We're going to scare you. That's what they're thinking. They're trying to trick you into thinking that they're going to get away with beating you. Don't believe it. I didn't. Keep your devices at home. Go through what you go through. Keep your receipts. They have cameras everywhere. Go home. Then you get online. Turn on and post it. That's what my meaning of live off the grid. Only in public. Because they're gonna attack you hard out in public and make you feel like let them. Now I realize so many things. Well, there's evidence, cameras, receipts, and the big thing, logins. I mean, Parkview Physicians Group, the good people there told me about logins. I was like, oh my God. And they would keep me there 3 hours as blackmail, 3 or 4 hours. Like, you better start telling us when you're going. Because, we can't keep doing this, coming in off the dime and just stalling and just making you wait we can't do that. We have to be prepared ahead of time so we can stalk in and make it look like, we don't know. So we don't have to wait. No, make them wait. That's what they hate. When that's all someone has, knowledge ahead of time, take it away from them. Make them wait the hard way, because they are waiting like dogs. That's what they do. If I don't have a tracker on my car, no technology, of course, and people said I can see them doing that. The Scuzz neighbors text them, oh, Naughty's getting ready. They have no idea where I'm going. They all park at all the places I've been to. And I hate driving. They all know. I basically drive up to Maplewood Plaza. I drive to nearby places that aren't, like, most of the places aren't 5 minutes more away. So I saw this. I only use 6 streets, like St. Joe Center Road, Coldwater, Maple Crest. I'm like, okay. Yeah, all of a sudden, all these stalkers come out at every red light. And no, this never happened before my stalking. Or they come out of the businesses, even in businesses I've never been in. All of a sudden, I'm like, oh, that's why they have no idea where I'm going. They're getting the information ahead of time. Naughty's getting ready. They're going out and parking. Because at Chase Bank at Maplewood, all these stalkers are coming out. And I've seen them before stalking me at different places like doctor's offices. And I was like, oh, I wasn't even going there that day. I happened to be driving past it. I was like, oh, they have no idea where I'm going. They're just waiting like dogs. I was like, well, I don't mind that. I was like, as long as they don't have a tracker on my car, I'm like, they're doing it the hard way. I'm like, okay, well, they don't know where I'm going. So they're parking at all the old places I've been. And to try and make it look like we know, Naughty, where you're going. We have a tracker on your car, and they might. This still hasn't been ruled out. But I'm saying I haven't found one yet. Maybe I missed it. But I'm speaking hypothetically for both ways. If I don't have one, well, then yeah. And people have said that. I can see them doing that. Yeah, your neighbors texting them. Mm-hmm. Even my mom said that. Yeah. She said, acting like it's a job. They probably wait for you all day at the mall till close. Like, they see it as work. Like, they wait till 9 p.m. until the mall closes. And yeah, I was like, oh, well, I don't mind that. That's got to be driving them nuts. I mean, I would hate. That's why they attacked me. Because they hate that. Do that to them. Let them attack you. And don't attack them. You call the police. And if they ban you, let them. But you have to defend yourself. And then you come home and you blog about it. And tell people to complain for you because they're blackmailing you. They ban you. Please, fans, please help me write to Dr. Phil. Please, please. Even though I haven't heard just on the internet, but I haven't heard him say it with his own mouth. His show is being canceled now. But still, he's still going to be in the limelight helping. Please, please write letters. Also, for me, you guys also write letters to Dr. Phil. Please, please tell him about my situation. That I refuse to die. And, yeah. And I know I can easily find a job. I just have to find the right person. It's just the businesses were doing it. But I'm sure they're business. I mean, you think with all the stuff I see on TV, murders having rappers sing about them, they have fan clubs, they have GoFundMe pages, serial killer murders getting like that Murdaugh. He's getting love letters from women, proposals. Jodi Arias has a rapper singing. Her paintings are selling for $1,000. She has a Facebook fan club. She does Facebook live video. I mean, if people like them can have killers or can have jobs and, of course, spouse. I mean, of course, I never doubted that with me. I mean, that was only 3 workplaces. If anybody wants to hire me as a personal assistant, of course, with absolutely no connection or contact with the scum. I know there are lots of jobs out there, but again, they have my IP address from both Frontier and Xfinity. So I don't know how to go about that. And they put the virus in the motherboard, so no matter, even if I get a brand new IP address and I wait with the brand new internet, it's going to infect the whole internet because it's a computer that they infected, which is $2,600. They wasted my mother's money. The hackers. And like they're creaking and footstepping away behind the walls. When I was minimizing and closing, and my mom and everyone was like, well, yeah, if they know you're getting off then yeah, they're involved. They're the hackers. I was like, yeah. Also, they're sending me emails about work at like 11:30 at night or 4 in the morning. And made me think, okay, they're scammers, but I got a W-2 from them, so how would they be doing it? Was it the real employee emailing me? That also happened with Allergy and Asthma Center. I was getting emails in the app from an employee at like 3 or 4 in the morning, and I was thinking, I don't think any of the nurses are awake, but that's the true app. So I'm like, if it's the true business, then that must mean the hackers, the scuzz neighbors, are telling them to email me that Naughty is getting out of the bat. Naughty is doing this. Because I thought it was the hackers themselves sending the emails, like they're scammers. But I got the W-2 from all of them. So how does that work? So that means that the neighbors are texting them and telling them that, hey, send her the email now. She's coming right. She's about to go out of the bathroom. That's a good question. I shouldn't be overexerting my voice. Oh my God, I didn't even think of that. Okay, well, I've done way too much here. I'm still going to retell the rest of the stories in different videos. It's just too much. It's too much to tell everything in one video. I mean, I want you guys to remember this, and I want you guys to retain all the information. That's why I do different videos for every... I mean, I could go on and on. But not. I want to take my time. I really want to take years and draw this out with every story. And I know it's very overwhelming to people just hearing one story. That's why I don't tell all of them at once. Like, I thought once a week was okay. I'm like, you guys are still reeling after 1 week, after a month. So I'm like, I'm just going to do this very slowly and torturely. So the way I'm doing it, maybe 9, 10, 20 years will take me to finish all my stories. But hey, I got the time. Even if I didn't, I'd make it. Well, this is not even not able to spend Mother's Day with her mother. But I hope you all get to. This is Nadia Monet signing off with Lips of Flame. Oh, now I can do this.